Alright guys, it's the Flying Pig here on Flying Pig United with another cheeky little video. I apologise for any shakiness here. I'm trying to keep it under control, but it's shaking a little bit. What's going on there, folks? Mrs. P's banished me to the car because she's sleeping. Obviously, she's on a night shift tonight as well as last night, so she needs sleep. I'm joking, she hasn't banished me, but I'm just coming out here so I can talk without waking her up. Let's talk about that guff, Europa League guff. Thank you for tuning into this vid, though. Hit the thumbs up, get yourself involved down below in the comment section and have your say on what went wrong with that debacle in Bilbao. We've done the Spursy things and lost to Spurs. Still can't quite get over it. Cost us Champions League next season, potentially cost us 100 million, cost us the ability to bring in the top players like Gyökeres, whatever you want to say his name, other players as well, and probably given us a difficult task to get rid of some of these melt bags as well, because surely you've got to sign players before you can let a player go, or have that position accounted for. So we might be ending up playing with Luke Shaw, Frey Bentos lover extraordinaire for another bloody season, and he was gashed last night, wasn't he? What a gash bag. Sick and tired of seeing that melt. He does need to be moved on in the summer. So do a lot of these gash bag players we're talking about here as well. We've seen some guff performances from Rasmus Højlund this season. Again, he was ghost worthy last night and needs to be sacked off immediately. Probably won't happen though, because as I said, we didn't get Champions League football. We're not going to have that extra money. Amorim said after the game himself, there's basically two plans. There was two plans. There was the plan if we won the Champions League, and the plan if we were in the Champions League, the plan if we were not in the Champions League. And obviously we've had to go with the secondary one now. We're not in the Champions League. We didn't win the Europa League, and we're going to be scrimping around probably looking for Ipswich Town players now. It's a debacle, an absolute debacle. So whichever way you paint it, we've failed this season. We've finished in a very poor position in the league as well, with humiliating performances, all those losses that we've had, the negative goal difference, all the rest of it. It's just been a humiliation. This is definitely the shittest season I've ever experienced in my entire life as a Manchester United fan. Didn't think it could get this bad. Evidently it can. I thought we were a bigger, better club than this. Well, we're not. Not at the moment, because of the shithouse ownership, the Glazer shithouses, Sir Jimmy and co, and obviously the mismanagement of certain key individuals over the last however many years. Erik Ten Hag being given 600 million to spend on absolute guff, for instance. Some of that guff was playing in that Europa League final last night. You think about some of the few key players that were guff. It's a Ten Hag team. It really is. Mason Mount in there. He started the team. That was a bad decision by Amorim. We'll get into that in a minute. But he is a Ten Hag signing. So's Rasmus Højlund. He was gash again up there. What a ghost. Onana, etc. He stitched us up a good one. But obviously it's on Amorim to get the best out of this team for the now. It's not Amorim's team. I feel for Amorim, because in the future, Amorim should have a totally different team if he stays. He should have a totally different team here going into next season, and would have had more options if we won the Champions League. And then you could really say, oh, this is his style of football. This is his team. He's assembled these players to play this certain way. Now we can judge him. I still think you can't fully judge Amorim at all based on the time that he's had and what he's had to work with, because he's had a bunch of melters to work with and players that aren't really fit to play in his particular system. He's tried to come in and change the formation in the system, and he's got players from the previous manager's system, so it doesn't really work. But still, as a manager, you do have to try and get results with the current team that you've got, and he's kind of failed to do that, if we're being honest. I'm not just talking about the Europa League final. The league performance is horrendous. But I do feel for Amorim. I like Amorim. You saw him talk after the game last night. He's saying some beautiful things. He even went as far as to say he would walk. If the Manchester United higher-ups want him to go, he will walk without any compensation. I mean, he's a heck of a guy, isn't he? I love Amorim, the way he carries himself, the way he doesn't get involved with guff, journalists, loaded questions and all this stuff. He's a very nice bloke. I really like the way he carries himself, and from that regard, he's a great representative to be Manchester United manager. But it's a results industry, and I'm sorry to say, but his results are worse than Gary Neville at Valencia, for Pete's sake. Gary Neville, and I'm not even joking, go and look it up statistically speaking. Gary Neville had a humiliation of a time at Valencia. Amorim's got way less points, way less win ratio, etc. than him. I know it's a different league, different team, but still, we're Man United, for Pete's sake, with hundreds of millions of pounds of players out there. Surely we should be getting the points. I don't really truly blame Amorim, though. I'm prepared to give him more time to try and turn it around, and obviously to see what he can do next season, and hopefully change the way we play and change the team. But it's going to be harder now that we've not won the Europa League, and we're not going to be able to bring in players like, say, Gyökeres. from Sporting Lisbon. This guy obviously is somebody that would have been on our radar. He may still want to come, who knows? But if the choice is between Arsenal and Man United, and they're paying you the same and everything, and they've got Champions League football and we just finished 16th, I think it's a reasonably easy decision, even if he is matey with Amorim. So we'll see what materialises there. But certainly, Amorim said himself after the game that Manchester United have two plans of the transfer window, essentially. One, if we had won the Europa League and got Champions League football, and another if we didn't. And obviously we're going to have to take that route now. And we're not going to sign the quality players that we could have done, I don't think. We still probably will get the Mateus Kunas of this world and the Liam Delaps of this world. But the Gyökereses of this world, the Osmans of this world, I think that's way beyond us now. Plus, financially speaking, we've taken a massive hit by losing that game. We've lost out on 100 million plus. So what an absolute debacle of a night there it was against those Spuddy melters. The Spuds have done well. Big flange Postocoglou. Fair play to him. He does win stuff in his second season. It's a cold quote now, that one, isn't it? It's a cold quote. So where does the fault lie? Well, in the game, you've got to say a lot of the players just didn't really turn up to the degree that they should have done. I'm looking at you, Mason Mount, Gashmas Boyland, Andre Onana, Luke Shaw, Casemiro, Bruno to a degree. Bruno's been a tremendous player for us this season, but it wasn't a stellar game for him, and let's not pretend. There was a few passengers in that game, and it's not on, but I'm not really surprised because look at what these players have done for the majority of the season. And Amorim, to be fair, he should have known better for that final. Oh, what? Mason Mount scores a nice couple of goals, nice goal here, does well in the last time we were in Bilbao and everything, so he starts. It doesn't really make sense. We probably should have started the likes of Ugarte or Garnacho ahead of him. It is easy to say that in hindsight. It's easy to say that, what if Garnacho starts and flops? But Garnacho did come on as a sub and look pretty lively and good for the last sort of 20 minutes. He's even come out today or yesterday, I think there was a quote from Garnacho saying that, well, I played in every round of the Europa League and suddenly I only get 20 minutes in the final. Dash, basically, something along those lines. I think that is obviously a big frustration for the player. It's coming out there. He said that we've been shit in the Premier League. These are quotes from Garnacho. He's not wrong. And the problem I have with Ruben Amorim's in-game management in that game, it's not the selection. It's not starting the players that he did. Fair enough if he thinks Højlund and Mount and these guys are the best course to try and beat Spurs. He knows what he wants to do and how he wants to play and the players he needs to choose in order to do that. But it's the in-game management I have a problem with. It's the not being proactive, not making a change at half-time, not making two changes at half-time. I was crying out for it in my watch-along. So was a lot of people in the chat. Let's see maybe Ugarte come on for the melting Mount. Maybe put Bruno further forward, have Ugarte and Casemiro. Or maybe do something with Xerxes or Garnacho, or just make a proactive change. That's what we needed really at half-time, or certainly 55 minutes. But we didn't really see any change until the 70th minute. It was a bit late. The late flurry, the pressure from Manchester United, it definitely was there. They've had to make some brilliant saves with Vicario. Obviously, he's made a great save. And what about Mickey van der Ven's clearance off the line from Gashmas Boyland's header? You have to say, without that key moment there, Spurs, they probably go on to lose that game because they're Spurs. But that was an unbelievable clearance off the line, so close to being a goal. These fine margins in football are what separate the winners and the losers, and that's what's happened. It was so close to being a different outcome. We did have a flurry at the end. We could have battered them in the end, actually. But, fair play to them. They defended well, and we weren't good enough. We didn't have enough players turn up. As I said, I think Lenny Yoro was brilliant in the game. Harry Maguire was excellent in the game. But most of the players, I'm sorry to say, just didn't really get out the races last night. And that includes people like Bruno, Cassie, some of the experienced heads. Very disappointed with the individual performances. Very disappointed with the team as a whole. And I have to say, I am disappointed with Amorim. Not really criticised Amorim since he's been here because, as I said, he needs time. He needs to get his team together. He needs to get his team of players to play the way that he wants to play, and he doesn't have that right now. He is trying to play a different style with a previous manager's players, and that's hard. But he didn't cover himself in any glory last night. So the questions will be, who will be going, who will be staying, player-wise, staff-wise. There is a possibility Amorim gets sacked off. I'll ask you in the live chat, or not the live chat, the comment section down below, to just get your thoughts in about Amorim and his future. Do you think we should keep or sack Amorim, or not sack? Maybe he'll walk with no conversation. He said it himself. What a lad. But for that very reason, I don't think we should, actually. I don't think that we should. I think he's got to have a chance, doesn't he? What we do in this whole chopping and changing managers guff, it's not really a fair chance to come in and take over from what Ten Hag left But if we actually give him the tools that he needs for his particular system, it could be a different story. All I'm saying is I'm not prepared to lose the faith just yet based on a Europa League final, which could have gone a different way if we actually had some clinical players in our team. It's again a problem with us with goal scoring, being able to actually put the ball in the back of the net and lacking the confidence up there and lacking the players and the personnel we need. Højlund's just not it. Also missed a flubber hand at the back. Awful again with that one opportunity that he had to stop. That's all he really had to do in the whole game, and he shat it. Certain players in this team obviously have melted. I just wanted to see a little bit more from Amorim in terms of influencing the game as it went on and not being so passive and melty and just waiting until it was too late really to make something happen. We should have seen a lot more. I'm gutted, guys. I can't really get over this one so easy. This is pretty much the worst I've felt after a United game for a long time. In my opinion, it might be a bit dramatic, but it's possibly the second worst day in Manchester United's history. But for me, in my lifetime anyway, this is definitely the lowest of the low. Just to finish where we finished in the league with the minus goal difference, the points tally, the losses, and also to get dumped out by Spuds in the final of the Europa when we were so close to having Champions League football and saving our season. We have ended up with the guff end of the stick here, and Spurs have got the end with the honey end on, if that makes any sense. That's not even an expression, but you know what I mean. Spurs have managed to get what they needed in order to save their season. They're in exactly the same position as us, really, melting and having a pathetic season unless they were to win it. They did win it, we didn't. We're done now, aren't we? We're sharted on. We haven't got the ability really to attract the talents. There's still question marks about players going. I haven't even talked about this. So, Garnacho said, "Oh, go on holiday," and then we'll talk about his future after. Bruno Fernandez. There's quotes from Bruno. Fair play to Bruno. I love Bruno. Bruno, great leader, great player, great guy. And he has been clearly one of our best players this season, and I definitely want to keep hold of him. But if a big offer came in from, I don't know, whoever, Real, Barca, Bayern, I don't know, whoever, then he might well be tempted at this stage because he deserves to be playing in those top sides, playing Champions League football. That's what he deserves. He said himself, though, that he doesn't want to go anywhere. He said that the only way he leaves Manchester United is if he's told to leave. If somebody says to him, hey, we've got an offer for this amount of money, we're accepting it, can you please go? If that happens, then he'll go. But other than that, he doesn't want to go. I love Bruno Fernandez, and I love the fact that he loves Manchester United. We need more players like that want to stay, who are not just here for money, who are not just here for, what they can necessarily get out of a football club, but they're there to try and help the football club because they love the football club. And he seems to love the football club. He could easily be playing for a team up there, and he chooses to stay at Manchester United. We'll see if that's still the case beyond the summer. Garnacho and Mainu and these sorts of guys, if big offers come in for our young talents and they're interested in leaving and joining a side who's maybe competing for things at the top of the leagues, then, you couldn't really begrudge them going, could you? Man United, on the other hand, we've got to try and raise as much money as we can to be able to bring in new players, but I don't want to see us losing our best players. Imagine if, it's Bruno and Garnacho and Mainu and these sorts of guys that we lose this summer, rather than Luke Shaw and Onana and Højlund. Those are the guys we should be getting rid of, and Lindelof and many players at this football club, to be fair. But we shouldn't really be getting rid of our young talents or our best players, people like Bruno Fernandez. So if Bruno ends up leaving, or if Garnacho ends up leaving, or Mainu ends up leaving, it's really a lot down to this loss. It's a lot down to it, I think, because I think all of these players would be happy to kick on next season with a fresh start, playing in the Premier League and with Champions League football. Most of them would have been absolutely spot on and happy. I know I would have been. So, but now it's like, wow, what have you really got to look forward to at Manchester United for next season? I mean, one thing is good that could potentially come out of it, which is just the fact that we can focus on the Premier League, that we can try our very best to get the points and that we need to get up there. But I'm not even convinced that we could necessarily get up to the European spots next season if you look at where we're at now. Amorim, bless him, he's got his work cut out for him. That's if he's still the coach at the start of the new season, because a lot can happen. There may well be some discussions behind closed doors, and you might think I'm being dramatic, but if you're the board at Manchester United and you're looking at the points tally, you're looking at his managerial performance, yes, there's X's and Y's and reasons why he has absolutely shat it, of course there is, but if you're just looking at the cold hard facts, he's had a complete melt job in terms of the points and the performances and stuff like that. So if you've got the opportunity maybe to appoint somebody else who's got experience and has a more proven track record, and also Ruben's prepared to walk for nothing, and you don't even have to pay compensation, just maybe they would actually look to do that. So there is a possibility that Ruben goes. I don't think they'll get rid of him. I think they'll give him a chance and they'll at least allow him a decent summer transfer window and at least most of next season before they make any decisions like that. But I would not be surprised, though, if they did make that decision based on sort of the points tally, how we've done. It's not been the most convincing time for Manchester United, has it? That's what we've got to say. One thing's for sure, guys. This team of melters needs to be disbanded. We've got to get rid of all of these fucking melt sticks in this team that let us down time and time again. Onana, Mr. Flubberhand, Mr. Wacky Inflatable Tube Man outside a car wash. He needs to go. He certainly needs to be sacked off, but good luck trying to get rid of him now. Nobody wants him, and he's on huge money. Also, same goes for the likes of Gashmus Boylan. We've seen it tried and tested, proven over and over again that he can't do the business for us up there. So he's got to go. Then there's all the old heads that have melted and just don't offer us much at all. Luke Shaw is gish again. Screw you, Luke Shaw. Luke Shaw is gish. Mason Mount's another one. See you later on, Mason, you melt. Mason, melt. By the way, sorry, guys, I'm super sweaty. I don't know if you can see the moisture on my head. It's not good. I'm just in a sauna here right now. I'm sweatier than Luke Shaw in the Frey Bentos factory right now. It is not good. Forgive me. But anyway, I'm pretty much just done rambling here, aren't I? I just wanted to sort of get a few things off my chest here, really, and talk about the game and Amorim and give you my thoughts and opinions of what we need to do. I think we should probably back Amorim, but I would not be surprised if they decide not to, based on the fact that he said he may walk for free. And if somebody else becomes available, I would not be surprised. Get your thoughts in down below about that. Also, I think it's imperative we get rid of a lot of players this season. Some of the players I've just mentioned, we need a big clear out. And obviously, we need to sign good players. Now we've made that much more difficult. Now it probably is the Liam Delaps and the Cunhas and these sorts of players rather than the Gyökereses and the Osmans and these sorts of big names. Big name players want to play in the big competitions. They're not going to be wanting to go to play for a team that finished 16th in the league and can't offer them any European football. That's just the sad reality. The only big name players, big reputation, big name players that would want to come, I think, are players that would just come for the money, for the paycheck. And that's not what we want. That's not what we want. So it's affected us massively, this, potentially for years. It's a stonker. It's a gash up. We've stitched ourselves up big time with this performance and result for years. Anyway, Glazers out. They're the real reason. Sir Jimmy Twatcliffe out, etc. These guys are melts. They've melted this football club, no doubt, and it's plain for everyone to see. Big changes afoot. We need to get rid of all the personnel. I would love it if they sold to Qatar or Saudi or someone like that. You know, screw it. At least then we'll get what we probably need, which is competitiveness, some money spent, some investment. These guys don't properly invest. They just go on about it and then sack Doris the tea lady. They're a disgrace. That's the reason why we're at where we're at. Not because of Amorim, not because of the players. Yes, the players are shit. Yes, Amorim didn't do well last night, but there's so many problems afoot at this football club, way beyond them, that need to be addressed first. Anyway, guys, I can't be asked, mate. There you go. Get your thoughts and opinions in. Smash the like button on it. Get yourself subscribed to the channel if you're new to the channel. Get down below and have your say. Do you think we should keep Amorim? Do you think we'll keep hold of the likes of Garnacho, Mainu, Bruno Fernandez even? Get your thoughts and opinions in and let us know what you think went wrong. Again, I think Spurs were kind of lucky that we couldn't take our chances and that they had a really good performing goalkeeper in Vicario and that Mickey Van de Ven cleared that one off the line. I know that's football. We didn't create enough. We weren't clinical enough. We didn't take our chances. That's football. But still, I don't think it's like Spurs outclassed us or nothing. Definitely not. They defended well and we've just got a bunch of melters in our team, basically. But there you go. Oh, what an awful, awful night. Thanks for watching, guys. That's it from me. Have a great day, though, and I'll see you on the next one. And remember, Piggy loves you.